So, welcome to your module overview summary. Um, every module, I try to have a what's this module about, and this is where I kind of explain to you in a nutshell the vibe and the mood of what we're going to be doing. Like, what's the purpose of it? So, I've had to redo this video 3 times because I keep rambling because I just love this topic so much, and I just want you to love it too. So, look, I'm doing it again. So, I'm going to stay focused. I wrote my notes down this time so I can stay focused. So, this should be your first video into the modules. My name is Kelly Perez. I have been doing philosophy for over about 10 years now, and I originally was a history major, and I took a philosophy class and I was hooked. So, what was I hooked on? I was actually hooked on this exact module. What I loved about this module was it just kind of dove into a few of the key points I have wrote down so I don't ramble, and I hope you start to understand why it's so addicting. So, some key points. First of all, there's a shift away from myth into logos. So, what that is it's a shift away from what they call like organized thought. If you live in a civilization where you're given a narrative of what things are, how things are, why things are, that is just a ball of information that sits in your brain and that's how you think. You think in seasons and cycles and systematically. So, as we get into philosophy, it's less about the historical event and it's more about why the event happened. Why did people do that? Why did they pull away? Why do you start thinking differently than everybody else around you? And we have a lot of key thinkers from a lot of key civilizations through ancient history that started doing that. Um, so that's kind of where we start philosophy at. The famous ones, of course, would be Avicenna, or you would have Confucius, or you would have Socrates. The list goes on and on of these first thinkers for their civilization, where they start to pull away from those and they start to focus on the cosmos. Like, okay, great, we all have gods, but what is a god? What's the nature of a god? I'm sure God doesn't want me to be a robot. What was the point of that? So you really have them start to kind of think and develop and question all the assumptions of truth. So that's kind of the mood and the spirit of this module. You will go through a couple of lectures that kind of give you just the boring side of philosophy, where we talk about why we're here, what we're doing. But at the end of the day, this is what I want you to take away. Can you develop a line of thinking that is completely independent to you, that you are the authority of that truth, and you give it its sacredness, you give it its word, you give it its meaning? You are the center of all things. Can you understand the purpose of a tree or a rock or the water or love or hate? Do you understand the nature of it, the function of it, the impact of it, the influence of it? And just kind of tangibly understand these complex topics using your own thought process, not Google, not experts, not AI. Can your brain examine and analyze and kind of extract meaning out of this information? So that's why we call it like the foundation of philosophy, the foundation of knowledge. Can you take a nugget of truth, run it through the ringer with your own questions, and arrive at a conclusion at the end? Now, your conclusion may be 1,000% right or wrong. That doesn't matter. What we want to discuss is the breadcrumbs that got you to the conclusion. If you say, hey, the sky is purple, okay, let's examine that. Why is the sky purple? What's the function of a purple sky? What would happen if all of the world of all of time had a purple sky? What if the purple sky had these white fluffy things in it, and these white fluffy things were alive and they could guide us and they could talk to us, they could do things with us? What would that mean? So that's what we're doing here. Don't want to ramble. We want to make sure that we are systematically looking at what is something? Why is something? What could it be? What is its focus? So that's the whole mood of this one. We're just introducing you to philosophy. This is my favorite topic. Basically, we're going to try to examine our mind and see who's in control. So I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the class and welcome to philosophy.